An introduction to analytics. I think many of you would have gone through and heard about analytics a lot. For me, analytics is just helping decisions with numbers. If you do it with Excel, if you do it with your calculator, you are an analyst. And let nobody convince you otherwise. If you don't use numbers and you use some kind of model, you could still be a data scientist. As long as it's data. What is a data scientist? Otherwise, it's an intersection of three kinds of skills. One is hacking, which is basically problem solving or building something. Second is maths and statistics. And the third is expertise in some domain. So you could be a telecom or a healthcare or even financial services. Traditionally, domains that generate a lot of data will need data analytics, right? Data के साथ ही data scientist. Hacking skills का एक synonym है programming skills. How do I build? How do I solve a problem? I write programs in it. So I tried to look into three ways based on my consulting practice and teaching practice. What are the three ways I see people get it wrong? And what are the three things, now that we are among ourselves, I wish I could tell frankly to my consulting clients. First is segment, which is break it down. Second is innovate, which is try and get out of your habits of thinking. Third is optimize. So one traditional way of segmenting is LTV analytics, which is lifetime value of analytics. Give me an example. Yesterday somebody came to me and said, we are setting up an NBFC. We want to sell personal loans, so they have very good credentials. They are like 14 years, 15 years credentials. They've raised some huge billions of dollars in funding. So I said, okay, you're selling personal loans, and they know personal loan business much better than I will. I said, how about selling some insurance to the personal loans? This might seem very, intuitive, but it's not. It's actually based on a branch of analytics called LTV, lifetime value analytics. You try and sell more products to the same customer. You try and look at the customer evolution. Another example I can give to you is from Ford. This is 2009 data mining conference in Vegas, where Ford said they tried to segment their customers in buying a car ka habit. You can change your car. What does not change is the frequency with which you change your car. So you can go from 800 to a mid-sized car to SUV, but often what does not change is your frequency. So 3 saal baad you think the car is old, or 6 saal baad the car is old. Based on that, they could predict when you are likely to change the car. One. Secondly, what you are likely to change into. Either the same car or a different upgraded model. So LTV is lifetime value. You can do LTV in Excel. This is by another Indian guy called Avinash Kaushik. He actually wrote this a couple of years. You can do it in Excel. You can find out that, right? Second thing is, which I find strange that we don't do, because we are one of the highly networked societies. Bengalis network with Bengalis. Malus network with Malus, Punjabi network with Punjabi. We all network when we go to US. But what we don't use analytics for is look at our social network. So when we are giving out loans, when we are giving out telecom products, when we are giving out healthcare products, do we look at the social network of our customers? That is a technique. This will require more than Excel. Third thing is RFM analysis. RFM is a simple, very intuitive way. It's called recency frequency monetization. You basically divide your customers in 3 kinds of matrices. decency, frequency, monetization. Pay special attention to the kind of graph. That's a 3D graph. On one axis, you can have highly recent to dormant customers. On another axis, you will have highly frequent to occasional customer, but the intensity of color is the monetization. The attention is also towards data visualization. When you look at metrics, right, you could see the same data in a table, right, in a report. And a lot of, we spend half our life looking at report anyway, but a visualization done like this can tell you straight away where to focus. Cohort analysis is a recent thing. Basically, it says treat people in groups by entry. Now, and I am network conference an ideal way of doing it. What is the basic cohort that you grow up with? Is your class of 2003, or you can say class of 2003 to 2005 or 2008 is one separate. Similarly, for customers, you can say customers acquired in May, customers acquired in June, customers acquired in August. Treat them as a separate cohort, and then do analytics on them. So these are just ways to slice and dice. Any organization can do that. You can do Excel. Any organization that has any data can do that. You don't need a data scientist. Segment strategy models. I came with, criticizing or implying that strategy doesn't matter, but strategy matters. What is strategy? It's a systematic way of thinking, right? In this case, if you have there are two models here. To their left is a very familiar BCG matrix. If you have more than 4 or at least 4 products, or at least 4 products in your competitor or in your entire life, you should consider the BCG matrix to look into your product portfolio. The second is more of something known as Grenell curve. I found number one stumbling block for execution of strategy or analytics or in fact anything is culture or people. So that curve basically looks at how culture evolves with respect to organization size. It is made by a very wise guy, and it's actually very useful to go back. I've chosen these two curves as the only curves that really help in strategy. We come to innovate. We are still stuck in legacy hardware. How many of you work in companies that use Windows only? You use only Windows in office, right? How many of you think that Linux is hard? Well, you're wrong. If you use Ubuntu desktop or any desktop, even Red Hat desktop, in fact Red Hat is a better example, you will find that from a user experience there is not much difference. Right? From a hardware perspective, how many you have company provided laptops or servers? Your company has a server. If your company has a server, it means you're still stuck in the past. Cloud means you can rent hardware by the hour, and in some cases by every 10 minutes. I think Google does that. AWS does that by the hour. To the right, I've given links for startups. Startups are eligible for free computing from all the providers. AWS, Amazon, Cloud, Google, Microsoft, and IBM. All have different programs. Everybody wants you. Why? Because once you're on somebody's cloud, it's very difficult to shift. So if you're a startup today, think you catch a Snapdeal or a Flipkart when they are a 5-member team and you ask them to join their cloud. When they become 500-member team, do you think they'll shift their data? No, they won't, right? So they are giving you free cloud computing infrastructure. You already use software as a service. It's called Gmail, right? and you already know something about package software is called Windows. Infrastructure as a service is just your virtual machine. Platform as a service is only necessary if you are into development or something. Okay? But if your company has a server only, and if your company has laptops which are more than 2 GB, you don't need that kind of computing power. Think, I'll go to your laptop, each one of you, take 2 GB RAM, and then make it available for you on the cloud. That's the power of cloud computing. Open source. Small example is Linux. How many of you have only Microsoft Windows in the company? You pay for that. Why do you pay for that? Give the money to your employees. OpenOffice is just as good. R, Python are just as good. MySQL is good for DBMS. Apache Web Server is good for running websites. I give a small example, which is there actually on my other laptop. I'm currently, teaching R to a couple of organizations, which are the leading analytics organizations in this country. I won't take the name. But even they were surprised that within R, which is a statistical software, there are GUIs. There are advanced GUIs, so without writing a single line of code, I can actually, click and get some good analysis. So that is the lack of awareness. Why is there lack of awareness of open source? Because nobody is paid to, or very few people are paid to sell open source. So try and innovate using open source. This is partly, I think this is due to the corruption in the corporate ecosystem in India. I find that more often in India, and I'll be frank about it. I get training assignments, I'm a trainer, through Janpijan. Right? Somebody's written my book, read my book through my LinkedIn, or I know some guys, there is no implicit corruption. In HR consulting, HR offshoring, when you hire people, there is explicit corruption there. Right? Similarly, in social media agencies and blogging, and there is implicit and explicit corruption in terms of helping your digital presence. A website is something that sells for 5,000 rupees to 5 crore rupees. Right? So there is a lot of, that doesn't mean you give up on websites or blogs. You'll be surprised to find so much talent is there. As a trainer, I often advocate blogging to employees for one pure reason. I said, look, 5 saal baad, these are going to go and write emails in Outlook, right? Or they'll go in front of a client. So might as well make them good writers today. So build a blog, build SEO and SEM, social media ads. You can advertise on Twitter with around 30 times the ROI than you get on Google AdWords. But did you know that? Or do you use Facebook? Do you think Facebook is a platform for enhancing your brand? It can be any brand, right? Did you know that you do not need a registration form on your website? As soon as somebody visits content on your website, you have your IP address. From IP address, I can get his internet service provider, his city. I can even get the organization from the IP address. Google Analytics will not give you that. Something known as Clicky, a software, does that. But do you do that, or are you still stuck in putting up a white paper in PDF and register here, fill up a form, five field form, then download this link? You could just have a single click saying login using Google and Facebook and download it and get more information actually. You'll get more information if you enable social logins. Web analytics continues to be underutilized by non-e-commerce companies, continues to be overutilized by e-commerce companies. E-commerce companies only look at web analytics. They will not even try out other ways, offline or even data analytics. Brick and mortar, they need to look into social media and web analytics. Those tools are available for free. Skill optimization. Why should I optimize my skills of my employees? Right? Now I found out the traditional Indian way, and again I repeat, this is the Indian way. I don't see this in North American clients that much, or in European clients, is अगर मैंने इसको ज़्यादा सिखा दिया तो ये भाग जाएगा. So first of all, your insecurity comes from the fact you think that guy is talented but underpaid. But skill upgradation is how you maximize the return on your employee. Right? Secondly, nobody leaves a company. People leave bosses. Nobody leaves a company for giving them too much training. People leave because of too less. So people are grateful. Try and look into that. People are grateful if you give them training. People actually join companies saying, हाँ सैलरी कम है लेकिन यार यहाँ से मेरा कैरियर अच्छा बन जाएगा. So invest in training on a proactive way. Don't think of training as a kind of offsite. So what do you do for team motivation? Offsite पे lecture or make them train party. You don't have a budget for that. Okay, let's go for skill upgradation. No, it doesn't work that way. You try and cheat people, people will figure it out. Optimize in terms of training them on data visualization. Should you use a pie chart or a line chart? Okay, this is the question for you. Should you use a pie chart or a line chart?
Depends on the data. What you are looking for.
Right, you're all wrong. You should never use a pie chart. Anything that can be represented as a pie chart can also be represented as a line chart. I didn't say that. 2K said that. This famous statistical stuff. So A, B, C, if you represent as proportions in a pie chart, you can also represent them as heights in a bar plot or line charts. But your human eye on a cognition basis can figure out differences between line. 20 और 22 का डिफरेंस आपको लाइन चार्ट में पता लग जाएगा, एक पाई चार्ट में पता नहीं लगेगा. This is a formal science, cognition. This is a formal science for data visualization. Are you training people to show data in a meaningful way? Are you training them to make pretty presentations? Everybody is an analyst at the end of the day. Train them in analytic thinking, train them in open source technology, at least be aware of what else is there and what else you are ignoring. Companies, again, I started off with Tata's, GE, WNS, City, before I set up my own company. Skill training is a good differential for HR. It is the cheapest differential you can get for HR. This company is good, gives good training, is a good differential for helping good talent. Optimizing diversity of people. How many companies, and here you might be thinking that where are the numbers in this? The numbers come directly to costs. A company that rewards diversity will have lower cost. How many of you think that if you make the company more friendly to women employees, you can cut down your cost? You will invest one time on a few things, or a creche or work from home or these initiatives. The woman will be so grateful, she will stick on for 4 years instead of the average attrition period of 2 years. What about minorities? Do you have Muslim friends? Do you think that we are friendly in the workplace? No, we are not, as a culture. How many of you go out, how many of your companies go out to say कि हम minorities को इतना % तो देंगे 5%, even though there might be 20% of the population. Or for handicapped people, One of the most brilliant guys I know is a batchmate of mine, works with SAP. He has a disability. You make your company more friendly to these kind of people. And I again look at my, I'm saying these kind of people, women, HR, minorities. You will cut down on your cost, and you will upgrade your skill set. That's it. Segment, innovate, and optimize.